A Johnson County official is facing allegations involving a teenager. Tonight at 11, who the public figure is and what he's accused of doing. For the first time, the widow of political activist Charlie Kirk is speaking out, and we're still learning more about the man accused of killing him. Plus, IMPD is set to test out new longer shifts, going from 8 hours a day to 10. What the IMPD chief says about it all.
From Indy's streaming news leader, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Thanks for staying up with us tonight. I'm Nadja Woods. It's been a great night to be outside, perfect for some Friday night football. And we have a look at some of the big games of the night coming up. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Kyle Mounts. Since this weekend will feel more like summer than September, he has what you need to know for when you head out.
And Nadja, we certainly have more summer warmth in that weekend forecast. Out there tonight, though, temperatures kind of all over the place. We've already got some cool spots. Muncie and Crawfordsville in the 50s already. Still at 72, though, in Indy. You get just outside the city, though, and those numbers do start to drop off. Shelbyville, you're sitting at 62. Satellite radar fairly quiet. We've got a few high, thin clouds out there for us tonight. But as we look off to the north, you can see there are some areas of rain, not overly impressive, but we'll have to keep tabs on these. Could impact your weekend here, but tomorrow morning we'll just have a few clouds around. It will be dry as temperatures hold there around 60 degrees. There's kind of your weekend preview. 86 on Saturday, chance for a thunderstorm or two, and then a little more humid on Sunday. 89 will be the high, and that humidity, it's been nice and in check lately, but it is going to start to ramp up. We'll talk more about your weekend coming up.
It's the matchup of the year in Hendricks County, Brownsburg versus Avon. I'm WRTV's Lauren Schwenker here to show you the turnout and community pride behind the rivalry.
This game is packed.
This has been a build-up since spring, and this is the game of the year for us.
It's our biggest rival. Brownsburg is #1 in the state. They are defending state champions.
Around 3,000 people repping the Orioles and the Bulldogs packed Avon High School's football field Friday night.
They just work so hard, all the boys, the whole team.
Jamie Salatich's son is the quarterback for Brownsburg. She says the community pride is like no other.
It's incredible. I mean, you can't put words to it.
Brownsburg won state last year. She says the whole town cheered them on.
It was incredible. It's amazing. The whole town came out to celebrate them, and I really feel like that's part of the reason why they went so far.
On the other side is Avon, which also has a whole lot of pride.
I think something that's different about Avon is our community. We don't have to win every single football game to have people support us.
The biggest motto for Avon is we are Avon, we are one.
Jared Semsky, the athletic fields coordinator, says tonight it's all about being together.
I love all the student athletes. That's why I do what I do for the community and for the school.
For both sides, it's more than football. It's about pride, tradition, and community coming together.
We've got a lot of football games left this season, so we need everybody to come out and be loud and support them.
Reporting in Hendricks County, I'm your community reporter, Lauren Schwenker, WRTV.
Brownsburg pulled off the win on the road tonight after a high-scoring game. They beat Avon 55-47. The Bulldogs took the lead early and managed to maintain it throughout the night. We also saw some exciting college football action tonight with the IU Hoosiers taking on the ISU Sycamores in an in-state battle. Our Brad Brown brings us a look at the game coming up on the news at 11. Friday night football isn't just for the boys. Girls flag football is a fast-growing sport here in the Hoosier State, too. The game has gone from 8 teams in 2023 to at least 60 this year. In May, the Indiana High School Athletic Association recognized girls flag football as an emerging sport with financial backing from the Indianapolis Colts and the Irsay family. WRTV spoke to Warren Central flag football players about how the game is celebrating a bond that goes far beyond the field, giving them a chance to escape some of the everyday pressures of being a high schooler.
It's just so I don't have to go home. And when I say that, it's because when I'm at home, a lot goes through my head. It could be problems that I face with at home or problems that I deal with at school.
Warren Central High School says its goal is to help get flag football as a sanctioned varsity sport in the state of Indiana by 2028. Indianapolis police officers will be testing out longer workdays next year. Today, we learned IMPD officers have approved changing their workdays to 10-hour shifts. Under the department's current contract, officers work 8.5-hour shifts with 6 days on and then 3 days off. IMPD Chief Chris Bailey says the change to 10-hour shifts begins next year. It comes as a result of the city's labor agreement with the police union and from officers' feedback. Chief Bailey says next year will be a test period for the new shift to evaluate whether it works for officers.
I'm WRTV's Rachel Wilkerson. No criminal charges have been filed against Johnson County Coroner Mike Pruitt, but a protective order is in place and an investigation is ongoing into interactions between Pruitt and a 17-year-old girl.
These allegations really are serious and ought to be taken seriously.
Pruitt is accused of repeatedly sending money to the teenager as far back as September of 2024 and buying her beer. Court documents state Pruitt agreed to allow the 17-year-old to use some of his pigs to show in the Johnson County and Indiana state fairs. In multiple text messages, she told him she would rather work on the pigs alone. Pruitt allegedly asked to see her, talk, and reached out to the teen's mother asking for her. On numerous occasions, the teen's mother told the coroner to stop texting and reaching out to her daughter. Pruitt violated those requests even after he said he would stop. At one point, records state Pruitt expressed harmful thoughts if the teen was taken from him. The final straw for the teen's family came on August 16th at the Indiana State Fair. The petition for the protective order listed physical harm, stalking, intimidation, and more. Indiana State Police have been asked to investigate.
The county coroner is a really important position in Indiana. It's like the top law enforcement office in the county. It's the only officer that could actually arrest the sheriff. That's how high they are. They can't even be removed by the governor.
Pruitt's attorney said it is inappropriate to comment at this time. The teen's attorney tells us the family's primary concern is the safety and well-being of their daughter, who they say endured significant distress. The statement went on to say, although the actions did not involve any sexual contact or sexual actions with the victim, such actions were highly inappropriate and deeply concerning.
Indiana State Police confirm its investigation is connected to a Johnson County official. The Johnson County Prosecutor's Office says it's not giving a statement until ISP finalizes its report. In Johnson County, I'm your Southside community reporter, Rachel Wilkerson, WRTV.
Tonight, new details are emerging about the 22-year-old accused of assassinating political activist Charlie Kirk. And we're hearing from his widow for the very first time. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has more from Utah.
For the first time, the widow of political activist Charlie Kirk is speaking out.
To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen.
Officials now say 22-year-old Tyler Robinson is the suspect who fired a single shot from the roof of Utah Valley University on Wednesday, killing Kirk.
A family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
In the hours before his arrest, officials say investigators identified Robinson as the suspect in surveillance footage. They described seeing him walk with an unusual limp, which they believe was caused by a rifle hidden under his clothes. An affidavit also notes that when Robinson stood up from his shooting position and ran across the rooftop, his limp was absent.
How did you feel when they announced they got the suspect?
I think relieved is probably the best word. I'm glad that they got him and he'll be put away.
Investigators say they spoke with family members who said Robinson had become more political in recent years, and one referenced an incident where Robinson spoke with a family member about Charlie Kirk coming to Utah Valley University. Keaton Brooksby, who attended 6th grade through 12th grade with the suspect, spoke exclusively with ABC News over Zoom Friday afternoon. He says he was stunned to hear about the arrest.
It really just caught me off guard. I was walking my dog, and I saw the picture come through. And I knew him immediately, and I couldn't believe that it was him, especially, knowing him in high school. He wasn't any sort of, person that I would anticipate to be doing something like this. So, just utter shock.
The Utah County Attorney's Office will be reviewing evidence over the next few days and is expected to bring charges as early as next week. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Orem, Utah.
It's disappointing. to have to start all over again with a new doctor.
Veterans in Morgan County depended on this building for their health and livelihood, but now they have to go somewhere else. Coming up, I'll show you how frustrated veterans are as the Martinsville VA clinic shuts down.
If you're worried about rising prices and a hiring slowdown, you're not alone. A new report shows Americans aren't feeling too good about the U.S. economy. Coming up on the news at 11, how the combination is causing concerns about the potential for stagflation.
We treat you like royalty.
You're watching WRTV, part of the Scripps News Group.
Taj Simmons here outside of the new VA clinic in Bloomington, which will serve its first patients on Monday. But as one door opens, another door will close. The VA clinic in Martinsville will shut down permanently.
I gotta be there like an hour early.
Navy veteran Gary Leonard, Army veteran Chester Jondro, and Air Force veteran Phil Deckard are united in frustration because the VA shut down their hometown clinic for good.
You just feel kind of like left out. You guys take care of yourself.
It would have been nice if they'd have talked to us first, but nobody did that. They come after the fact and said, oh, you got to move.
Martinsville VA patients learned by letter their clinic would close days before the opening of the new Bloomington VA clinic. A trip through town for basic checkups just became a 20-minute drive down the interstate.
I'm missing the convenience of the local office. If I felt like I needed some medical attention, I often would just stop in and see if the doctor was available.
Deckard's doctor is moving to Bloomington, but Leonard and Jondro are not as lucky.
Not everyone's going to the same place.
No. The doctor I had is going to the router booth. It's just disappointing to have to start all over again with a new doctor.
If I wanted to keep the optometrist that I had, I would have to go to Shelbyville for that.
Many of these veterans need to stay on top of their health. The VA says 48% of Morgan County veterans are 65 or older.
The nursing home veterans, it's a lot farther for them to travel.
Air Force veteran Kyle Siegting helps older service members get to their appointments, a job which became much harder with the VA's decision.
To have something that really focused on the local veterans and helped us out in a small town like this was something, and we hate to see that go away.
Now, Martinsville's veterans have their marching orders, and that means marching outside of the county for health care.
It seems like they don't, really care about our input. It's like, okay, take it, accept it. This is the way it is.
In Martinsville, I'm your Morgan County community reporter, Taj Simmons, WRTV.
Looking in on the Circle City tonight, of course, we've got quiet conditions. We've had quiet conditions for quite a little stretch here, but things changing up a little bit for the weekend. We'll get into that forecast right now. Still holding on to that warmth from the day, 72 in Indy, but you get just outside the city here, and we're talking about temperatures that are quite a bit cooler. You're at 60 in Bloomington, 61 in Kokomo, and tomorrow morning we'll find those outlying areas dropping down into the mid to upper 50s, 55. Is where you'll start the day in Columbus, but 61 in Indianapolis. Now, your Saturday hour-by-hour forecast. One thing we're going to notice, more clouds tomorrow. We've seen a lot of sunshine here lately. Temperatures will still climb the first half of the day. We get to around 80 degrees there at noon. Now, during the afternoon is where things could get a little interesting here. Notice that temperatures kind of level off a little closer to 80 degrees, but that's because we've got the chance for some rain. Where we see rain, that will keep things cooler. If you don't see any rain, of course, your temperature will continue to climb. Here's TrueCast and one of the models here getting the latest information this evening. This is noon tomorrow. You can see some areas of rain to the north, then working its way southward as we go through the afternoon, kind of favoring the western portion of the state. But then as we go into tomorrow night, chance for some additional showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms out there as well. Now, overall, rainfall not expected to be all that heavy, but if you can get under a couple of thunderstorms, and I do think we'll see some of these move over the same locations, you could get some locally higher totals. Along with the rain chances, we do have the chance that some of those storms could have gusty winds, possibly some small hail. So we've got actually a marginal risk, that level 1 out of 5 for some of those isolated stronger storms. Purdue forecast here can't rule out that we could see a shower during the game. Temperatures should stay in the 70s with those mostly cloudy skies in place. Talked about temperatures really dependent on where the rain falls, and you can see that tomorrow. Forecasting about 79 in Lafayette, but 86 in Greenwood and 84 in Columbus. We're back to sunshine. May have a little bit of morning rain there on Sunday, but it will be hot as you get ready to catch the Colts game. We've got temperatures that'll be around 90 degrees there, and we'll get into the lower 90s Monday and Tuesday. We're back to a dry weather pattern here until the end of the week. Scattered storms on Friday will bring those highs into the mid-50s.
The Indiana Fever are heading back to the playoffs for the second straight year. They'll play in Atlanta on Sunday night, then return to Gainbridge Fieldhouse on Tuesday. Changes to the WNBA playoff season structure makes that possible. It's been 9 years since fans could cheer on the Fever at the Fieldhouse for a playoff game. Tickets went on sale this afternoon. Fever officials say fans should expect the same electric atmosphere that's filled the arena all season long.
We've got the best fans in all of sports, let alone at the WNBA. So I know our fans are going to show up. They're going to be incredibly supportive of this team as they have all year long.
Fever playoff merchandise is already available at the team store. And you can watch Sunday's Fever game against the Dream right here on WRTV. Tip-off is at 3 o'clock. Then stick around for our live postgame show and WRTV News at 6. There's a chance for Hoosiers to get a taste of the opera scene for free. This weekend kicks off the 51st Indianapolis Opera season with their 8th annual opera event in the park. The Indianapolis Opera says it removes the economic barrier of experiencing live opera and gives families an accessible way to enjoy a new experience. Our Caitlin Kendall sat down with the general director and the principal conductor of the opera.
There's really something for everybody. Our Indianapolis Opera Chorus, which has really stepped up, is featured as well. We're doing some great Verdi opera choruses with them.
I see our young people tapping into a classic renaissance, live performances, beautiful music, being outside and picnicking with each other. These are all experiences that everybody gets to do. Bring your family, bring your own food, or we got top 10 food trucks.
The concert is tomorrow at the amphitheater at Garfield Park. Gates open at 6 and the concert begins at 7. The opera says the performance will last about an hour and a half. Again, there will be food trucks and drinks for the family-friendly event. Tonight, many Americans say they are feeling less confident about the U.S. economy. Consumer sentiment in August dropped roughly 3 points, according to a preliminary study by the University of Michigan. Rising inflation and tariffs are two of the main economic concerns. The findings also show a continuing trend. Wealthy people are spending more often and more freely, while lower-income households are cutting back on expenses. New federal data out this week showed what some economists are calling a double whammy of troubling economic indicators. Scripps News Group's Maya Rodriguez reports on what that combination could mean for consumers.
Inflation continues to tick up, and new federal data shows a growing number of people are out of work. That combination is causing concern about the potential for stagflation.
Stagflation is when the economy is weakening labor market, weakening GDP, but also we're seeing rising prices.
Consumer prices were up 2.9% in August compared to a year ago, rising at their fastest pace since January. Meanwhile, separate federal data showed 263,000 people submitted jobless claims last week, the most since October of 2021. Those conditions point to stagflation, but a milder version than what Americans saw a half-century ago, says financial analyst Stephen Cates.
You could call that stagflation, but it is a far cry from the stagflation that is sort of built into the history books from the 70s and 80s.
The dual data indicates a challenging environment for consumers.
Stagflation is really a 1-2 punch for consumers. And we can think about this as like a gut punch and then taking one right to the chin.
Economic professor Abby Hall says the data is also a potential headache for the Federal Reserve, which would typically raise interest rates to curb inflation, but lower interest rates to help support a weakening jobs market.
The Fed has a really difficult task of trying to balance these two. And when you have an occasion where both are rising, the policy prescription is really unclear.
The Federal Reserve will meet next week and announce its interest rate decision on Wednesday. Maya Rodriguez, Scripps News Group, Washington.
WRTV Storm Team.
Some might call a game like this a yawner, but nights like this are supposed to go like this if you're IU. 73-0 the final over Indiana State. as the Hoosiers improved to 3-0 on the season. There's a simple observation that Indiana's first three opponents, Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and now Indiana State, were not on their level. Well, that's kind of the point of these non-conference games. It's essentially an extension of the preseason, a little bit more of training camp into the meat of the schedule that comes up when the Big Ten calendar begins next week. And IU certainly made some strides forward here this evening. Indiana's offense had a slow start in week one. They have certainly corrected that since. A quick 3.5-minute touchdown drive sparked the Hoosiers early. Fernando Mendoza running in the opening score of the night.
I think it was good to get over that hump and to keep the ball rolling rather than, getting started running, stopping a little bit, and then having to start over again. So I think our offense line played great, receivers, running backs, tight ends. I think everyone played great today and made it real easy for myself.
Mendoza would also throw 5 touchdown passes before halftime. Omar Cooper Jr. caught 3 of those, 4 in total. Slashed the defense for 209 yards on 10 grabs in the first half. Mendoza missed on just one of his first 20 attempts, and IU scored on his first 10 possessions.
The consistency in practice. This week, even though we had a short week, like I said, we was able to just go out every day and practice hard and just get ready for this game.
Being able to stretch the ball downfield and have that vertical stretch to the defense helps our run game a lot, helps our RPO game a lot, helps our quick game a lot. So to have those threats on the outside, it's fantastic.
The Indiana defense will ultimately be the group that determines just how far the Hoosiers can go in the Big Ten. Cleaning some things up had been their vibe so far. They gave up just a single first down in the first 3 quarters on their way to the shutout.
Gaining momentum, right? And, we got some young guys in, which is pretty good to see. Older guys getting their reps, cleaning up little details and stuff like that for, next week's game. But we didn't look past this opponent at all. That coach made that a big emphasis.
The defense, last week was a kind of a point of emphasis for me. And I expected us to have a dominant performance, and we did.
Now the Big Ten calendar awaits. Here are the first 5 of those games. The math is pretty simple. Indiana can maybe afford to lose 1 conference game to a ranked opponent and still be in the playoff conversation. Otherwise, every week will be a high-pressure situation to perform. Now, next Saturday night, it is another massive game here in Bloomington. Illinois comes in. They are ranked 9th this week. The Hoosiers may very well crack the top 20. This place is sold out. It is sure to be an electric atmosphere for the start of what is sure to be a high-stakes 2025 Big Ten calendar. At Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Pathfinder.
A Plainfield senior is celebrating a very special milestone on this Friday. Goldie Moffitt lives at Glasswater Creek and is turning 100 years old. Making the celebration of a century even more extraordinary is that nearly 120 family and community members, including her 101-year-old sister, were there with her. Goldie's daughter explains her mom's key to a long, fulfilling life.
She says her secret is staying busy. She likes to crochet. She likes to work crossword puzzles. She has her own little routine. She gets up in the morning and she might do a Bible study or, while she's drinking her coffee. But she doesn't sit still for very long. She gets up, she moves around. Just, like I said, stays active.
Staff at Glasswater Creek says Goldie can walk circles around most people. Happy birthday to you, Goldie.
And your weekend forecast, if you're going to be getting out and active, does include the chance for a little bit of rain, especially as we head through Saturday afternoon and into the evening. And then the heat, it will continue on here. We've got highs around 90 degrees both Sunday and Monday. Have a fantastic weekend.